Okay, so returning to deduction tip video, I put this one off for a while because I was hoping that this deduction tip video would be the first video that I made out in my lab that I revealed in the last video, but it's been overdue for too long, and this is going to take me a little bit too long to finish the shed, so I thought I'd go ahead and tackle this current tip that I'm working on, or that I've worked on for a while now, while I've got it fleshed out and everything. So the tip I'm going to be covering in this one is, why do you need a knowledge base? It's more of a question, and then I've got some tips to follow it up. But a knowledge base is important because if you don't have knowledge base, say that you are a deductionist and you don't have your knowledge base built up properly. So you have the skills of observation and deduction, but you're missing knowledge. The third point that makes a good detective or a good deductionist. If you are an observant person, you'll see all the details. And if you're good at deduction, you're going to be able to put it all together. But if you don't have a knowledge base, you're going to be limited in what you can make deductions about. For example, if you only deduce things that you have had personal experience with, you're only going to be able to deduce a very limited set of circumstances. This is why it's not a good idea to just memorize deductions from TV shows or something like that, or from books, because if you only memorize certain deductions from certain shows, you're going to be limited to those very minimal set of things that you can deduce. Or another thing about making deductions are those quick learn to read anyone in 5 simple steps. That's going to mean that you only have those 5 simple steps that you can use to make deductions about, and anything outside those parameters is going to completely outweigh you. So it's important to have that knowledge base. A good illustration for this is like a math problem. If you memorize that 5 plus 5 equals 10, I was afraid I was going to drop all my pages like that. If you memorize the answers to math problems, all you're going to do is know how to solve those few math problems. If you only memorize a few math problems, that's all you're going to be able to do. But if you learn how to do math, you're going to be able to apply that to any range of situations. So if you study a knowledge base, your deductions will be applicable to other areas, not just that 1 or 2 things that you have experience in. So that's why a knowledge base is important. Additionally, I had a couple of other tips that I wanted to talk about today concerning training regiments and why you need deduction exercises. So this is a tip that even I could apply a little bit more rigorously, is just a training regiment. Setting up a schedule for yourself on what specific skills sets and strengths that you want to train and enhance throughout the week. It's a good idea to do your training on a daily basis, not just pick one day to train all of your skills, but train a couple of things on Monday, then a couple things on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You continue on through the week, and every week you have a training regiment that you go through. Now, there are a few things you want to train every day to keep them fresh. So you want to train deductions every day and observation every day, but other things that you can add to your regiment to change it up every now and then. So you can train to learn body language on a daily basis. A good way to train for that is to mute the TV and try to just understand what's going on just by reading their body languages. Of course, having to study that as well. You can train your memory. There are several games that help train memory. There are challenges. We've got deduction games that we have. Just pay attention to some of the other videos. I've listed off a whole list of deduction games that you can play. Some of those have to do with memory. Jordan talks about one. The book Monographs, that goes into detail about a couple of memory training things. Training for your mind palace is another good one, because it's a good idea to keep your mind palace fresh. Go through it every day or every couple of days and just keep things clean in there. Training your senses. I did a whole video about keeping all of your senses sharp and how you can improve all your senses. I'm working on an experiment to help train my sense of smell, which is like the only one that's kind of hard to turn on and off. All your other senses, you can kind of tune them out, but your sense of smell is kind of almost always active. It's passive. But there is a way to train it that I'm working on and making some progress with that too. Then there's deduction games, like I mentioned already. Just a good deduction game that I like to do is with my brother. I will give him or my mobile phone, and I have him hide it while my back is turned, while I'm out of the room, and then I read his body language to figure out where he hit it. That's a good game you can play on a daily basis, or every other day, whatever, whenever you have people around. Study knowledge bases. This goes in with the first tip that I shared today. Pick skills that you want to learn, that you're interested in, and learn to apply those to deduction, or learn to apply deduction to those skills, rather. For example, you can study medicine, you can study science, biology, physics, psychology, body language. These are all different studies that you can take on your own. I have countless books on any of these subjects. And then you can study those. And then you can study the deduction books as well. There are several one of those. Experiments, that's another good one, is if you're ever curious about something that you're not sure the answer to, or how something might be observable in someone else, put yourself through that situation and determine for yourself what the results may be. For example, if you're interested in handwriting analysis or something like that, and you can conceivably do an experiment on it yourself, go ahead and do it, and that can help you have that information for later. Training observation on a daily basis. You want to do that every day. Training deduction every day. There's the Reddit forums. There's this is a nice tie-in. I'm on a Google Plus forum, and we have deduction puzzles and things like that in there that we work on. It's a very good tie-in. You can join that easily. But that's a good place you can study and learn among a group of other deductionists as well, so that's nice. Logic puzzles, those are another good way to keep your mind active. You may not have a day when you can do deductions easily, so just having some puzzles, maybe it's Sudoku or a game, whatever the case may be, you can have the logic puzzles on you, and you can do those. Or research experiments and things like that, researching different topics that you're curious about, and how you can learn from them and how to apply deduction to these things. So researching other cultures, researching technology, or whatever the case may be, doing research about illnesses, whatever, diabetes. I did an extensive research on diabetes, and now I can apply deduction to that. So there's all kinds of things that you can research. These are things that you need to apply to that you can apply to a daily deduction training regiment. This is something that I personally need to work on a little bit more. I don't really have a daily regiment. My thing is more, if I have some downtime, I do study, or I will do deduction. I'll do one of these items that I just listed off, and that's when I will do it. I don't have a set time or a schedule that I train deduction in, but I I'm almost always doing something to help train deduction. If I have downtime at all and I'm not doing anything, I'll pull out a book or something like that and I'll go over it. But having a set schedule would be better. Even I admit that. So it's something that I personally need to work on. And knowing that it's something that I need to work on, it's going to be... I figured it was a good subject for me to talk about. That way it kind of motivates me to do it as well. But also teaching you guys to learn from my own mistake here is that I don't have a training regiment, and it kind of sucks not having one. So anyway, those are the tips for today. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.